Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Eberron game. How's everybody doing today?
Pretty good. I was doing great up until about 45 minutes ago. I had an issue with the brewery, but other than that, I'm good.
I'm sorry that you had an issue with the brewery. Did they come to your house and leave a flaming bag of poop on the doorstep?
Basically, yes. Yeah.
That wasn't basically what happened. But
Yeah, that's basically what
It's
happened.
basically the same
you
level
just
of insult.
it's that level, but just life wise. Just
Yeah.
you left a flaming bag of poop on your life.
Yeah, they did.
I was pretty good up until like 15 minutes ago when I had to get
Is
on the
that actually a
Skype call
thing
with
that
a bunch of
people do?
mongoloids.
Wow.
Mongoloids.
I like that word. I use that word often.
I don't get to use it often. I like it though. But yeah, I'm pretty good. Pretty good week.
Well, glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Having some fun. Actually, we did not as much fun as usual. No stream last night. No stream the night before. No stream the afternoon before. It's kind of a light week, I guess. It was actually a good thing because I ended up having like a cold. So I'm doing like, oh man, all this time I'm not streaming. I'm not losing my voice. It's great. It's great.
Is that why you're really wrapped up right now?
Well,
You got the gloves, you got the hat.
I haven't been in the office all
ski?
day, so when I came in here, I was like, ooh, it's cold. Like, it's like a peripheral room. I was like, oh, it's cold in here. But eventually, the lights, the green screen lights, will warm it up, and I'll be like, oh my god, I'm sweating. I'll get naked for you. So, but all right, enough of that talk.
No.
Oh, you want me to continue with that talk? Will?
No, I'm
Wait,
saying
I'm confused
no
now.
getting naked.
Okay.
This is a naked-free zone.
All right. So
Aw.
back on track here. Let's go to
It actually isn't. Like nearly all the characters all the male characters aside from Bellum have been naked at some point during this stream.
So
Yeah.
we're saying 2 of the 4 characters.
Well,
So now
3, but Luca got naked, but now he dead. He's as naked as he's ever gonna be.
Luca doesn't have a body anymore.
Aaron,
Yeah.
I will allow you to recap last week because of, well, I'll just allow you to recap last week.
We okay.
None
So
of me
Tyrion
shit.
and Reich went to go interrogate the dude. We interrogated the dude. He was clearly not in a right state of mind because he was not afraid of Kieran as he should have been. Shenanigans happened. He died via lightning bolt to the face. And we got Stalbor. Stalbor investigated the body, confirmed that it wasn't person. Before all that happened, he got chased down by the captain of the guard and almost killed. So that happened, but was rescued in the nick of time. Guard's still alive, unfortunately. We weren't able to kill her. Then we split ways with Bellum and Reich going to talk to the druids and the gatekeepers about what to do. And Stalbort and Reich contacting his creepy albino lizard folk friend about information, which we did. We're able to ask questions to the body post-mortem. Found out essentially that there is this thing called a creeper that is turning people into zombie plant things, and we're gonna go kill that now.
There you go. Okay, I wonder if anybody has ever given like a confession to a crime they've committed, saying shenanigans happened and they died, or the cop got away.
Kieran has.
I'm sure that's happened.
So,
Shenanigans.
all right.
To quote George Carlin, think of how smart the average person is. Now, half of the people are less smart than that. That's all I'm saying.
And half of the party are less smart than that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. All right, I like it. All right, moving on. You guys have your plan to go do what you got to do. One of the big things you need to do right now is to re-meet up with Bellum. Bellum having gone to meet up with... Bellum went and met up with... Wait, I totally just lost myself.
Bellum and
for a second.
Reich went to the gatekeepers.
Bellum and Reich went to the
Yep.
gatekeepers. They already had their conversation. We went back
We're
to the other
meeting
ones.
them
They
in
had
the
their
city.
conversations. You guys are meeting back outside the city.
Yes.
So
yes.
now let's meet outside the city. We can just kind of flash forward to you guys meeting up together. Oh, no, I believe there was a conversation that Kieran wanted to have with Stalbor at some point in time. So we're actually going to bring the focus to a point in time with them two traveling together before we have everybody meet up. So, Kieran?
So you let them wipe my memory and didn't tell me?
Well, it's a very complicated situation, Kieran.
Uh-huh.
I'm telling you now because I don't care anymore.
Uh-huh.
But I used to care.
Okay.
and it was important to the structure of the universe that you didn't know. But now I don't care. Oh, remind me at some point I need you to hold Reich down so I can get some juju out of his head.
I don't think I can hold Rick down.
I want to see this happen.
You're going to have to
Make
create
this
some kind of
happen,
mechanism.
please.
Cue in Smash Mouth and Reich just
That
like
way-
walk in like nodding his head.
Is that why you guys are arguing now?
Smash Mouth.
Well, yes, until I can cure him, he's kind of... you know how the monster we're fighting has thralls?
Uh-huh.
He's one of those, just to the other guys.
Are you sure about that? 'Cause he
I
seems-
am actually factually sure, yes. He just doesn't really know.
How do you plan on getting this out of his mind?
Magic.
That is a very broad answer, because magic can range anything from lightning bolts to healing.
Don't worry.
Do you
hold
want
on,
me
I
to
got
go into
this.
the magical theory, Kieran? Because I can.
I just want to make sure you're not going to hurt Reich.
It shouldn't hurt a bit, but he might hurt me when I tried to do it.
Alright, well, we'll worry about that later.
Yes, that's a problem for another time. Moral of the story, the Druids took your memories away to protect them. But
And I'm not allowed to go see them again.
I don't really care anymore. If you do, they'll try and kill you.
Well, I'll probably kill them first.
Yeah, probably.
Alright, that's all.
Okay.
You have
Time.
very practical conversations,
Right.
Kieran and Stan. They end. Unlike
Not
some...
practical.
That's how you know Kieran likes you. She stops talking eventually. So you guys make your way to eventually meet up with one another outside the city. A few days do pass between A and B, like just because of how long it takes to travel, and then you guys do meet up. So it's 2 days more pass, and then you guys do meet up outside the city. Honestly, it's one of those times where it's kind of nice because Kieran and Stalbor had been traveling for a bit with N, and then Reich and Bellum had been traveling for a bit, each group about 5 days apart from the other group. It's nice when you guys get these reprieves because you spend every waking moment with one another, especially when you're on the ship. So when you get these reprieves, it's one of those, even though you might not be like super related to see the other one, just like an aggravation could still be there. It's nice to see that they're still breathing and that like nothing bad happened between A and B, because it's not like you have a cell phone, you can text them and be like, hey, you okay? So it is nice to see one another when you actually do bump into each other. And you do. We're going to say that Bellum and Wright got there first, and that they've already set up some sort of camp, and that Bellum had prepared a cold meal. Trying to lay low from the city, he wanted to make sure that whatever you guys had that was edible was not something that was easily seen from a flame. So he prepared some cold meats. Some of them are already like like jerkied beforehand, and so others are just like certain types of vegetables or fruits that have been prepared a certain way. It's very delicious.
He strikes me as a roots kind of guy. Edible
Yeah.
roots.
And grubs and stuff, but we don't need to get into that. Hakuna
Hey,
Matata.
Stalbor eats goblin cuisine. He'll heal your grub.
Yum.
He just doesn't trust Bellum.
So when you guys meet up, Reich and Bellum are sitting there and having some amount of small talk, which, unless you guys have something specific, we don't need to focus on that. Some amount of small talk when they notice you guys arriving, because them two are the perceptive ones and you guys are not very silent.
Just look up at them and continue doing what I'm doing. Don't say anything.
It's important to note that when you look up at them, you see a young lady with them and not the obnoxious guy.
I look at the three of them and I say, well, I found out why they're acting so weird.
Yeah, we found out quite a bit too.
You did.
Yeah. Why'd you act so surprised?
Well, I mean, we went we went to go speak to an ancient order who have stayed in this forest, and you guys went to wait for us. The fact that you learned information while waiting was interesting. but I'm sure there's some reason for it. Uh, we'll finish eating and then we can talk. After finishing our meal, I would t- turn to them and I'll say, I'll simply tell you what we were told, and then you tell us what you were told. There appears to be a creature in this forest known as the Thorian. It has been subjugating the people of this forest, turning them into thralls. And the creatures that we fought, they were referred to as creepers. They are some sort of advanced stage of this subjugation. And the people we have seen, the ones that have served its purpose with the green tinted skin, they are the thralls. They are a lesser version of their more human in nature, but also not entirely under the control of the Thorian. They still may yet be able to maintain um, their intelligence through through the knowledge that the gatekeepers offered us. We have determined that the only way that we can truly save these people is by destroying the Thorian. However, from what they tell us, this creature will rest for many thousands of years, spring back to life for a short cycle, sometimes as short as a year, and then rest. And its creatures all the while will continue exerting its influence and spreading its land. Essentially, it's just looking to expand its territory. From what they told us, we realistically have a couple options. We can, one, attempt to destroy the creature, which would be incredibly dangerous, given that, from what they told me, there could be dozens, if not hundreds, of creepers, as they referred to them, the closer we get to this creature. The second option is two. We can let it wait out cycle. We can destroy those who were infected and halt the spread, though this will be only a stopgate measure. Or three, we can let it do its thing. We can simply leave, go about our business, and let it continue its spread. They do not believe that it will affect the area as strongly as we were initially concerned. But I wanted to get your opinion on the matter before we continued. But you said you learned some information.
More or less exactly the same things you did.
But
Interesting.
we learn that even if this creature dies, the people who are infected will likely still be infected. And two, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I think that was said. And two, we learned how to find the creature. Something with a Cerberus shard.
Cerberus shard.
Did it land near it or something along those lines?
It's set up its lair somewhere where a Cerberus shard has landed.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
I
we
think
know
we were-
somebody who has dealings with the Cerberus shard trade. She'll kind of like turn to Bellum at that.
We also
It's
have
the rats,
someone.
right?
He'll nod, just silently.
We also have an ally in this fight. The albino lizard folk that saved our lives when we were dealing with these creatures before.
Mm.
He wants that Thorian dead. And I'm more than half inclined to help.
Well, while Reich said there were three options, it seemed as though he really wanted to make sure that this thing was dead too. I'll look at Reich and then look back at Stalbor. So I think the right thing to do would be to find this thing. I turn to Kieran and say, "You said it was near a shard?"
Yeah. Would you be able to track that?
I could do my best.
I would
I-
not be doing my job if I did not at least mention once again that this creature is surrounded by what could be dozens of these creepers, and we, when faced by a group of maybe 14 last time, were nearly felled with another in our group.
I'm going to interject for a second here. You guys did fight at one point in time, dozens, but you did just barely get away. It was a lot. I don't know if you remember, there were groups. There was, I think, six groups of each, like 11 or so in the group. So there was a lot before, no question. And you did just barely get away. So I just want to make sure your numbers aren't inaccurate. And the concern would be, those were dozens. There are potentially thousands of years worth of them built up over by wherever its lair is, but you don't know what that could be or couldn't be.
When you say that, I'll turn to Reich and say, well, I've killed a few of these things. I'm not quite sure whether they live or die after this thing's dead, but I am pretty certain if we can stay quiet. He like looks over Reich's shoulder behind at Kieran, and like back at Reich. He's like, if we could stay quiet, we could probably pass these things. They seem to be intelligent creatures, but I'm sure we could sneak by them. I
am the epitome of stealth.
I have means of
when I turn you invisible,
keeping us stealthy.
Well, in the realms of magic, two of the spells, invisibility to make Kieran not so heavy-footed, and my explosive abilities are beyond me right now. Give me some time and some coin, and I'll be able to stock my book.
So, about magic and about that. We've already killed the man and performed necromantic experiments on him and taken his hand. We should go back and clean out that House Candace enclave. Because they definitely have all kinds of magical shit in there. And he's not using it anymore. Might have more explosives.
Your idea is to go inside the city where we were just made outlaws.
No, not you weren't made an outlaw. I was made an outlaw. Star Wars made an outlaw.
Except for, and I am a known ally of yourself.
Bellum has no connections to any of us, and N could definitely get in.
When she says N could definitely get in, does this woman make any type of acknowledgement that she's N? Scott?
And I could be invisible.
Well, I mean, nobody said anything about it being N, and N has been very quiet the entire time.
Right.
She hasn't said. She's just literally like, you probably like looked at her like, who's that person? She gave you like a half kind smile, not rude but not overly polite,
right.
And then just has otherwise stood there and listened. And everybody else has been so open around her that you just assume that it's okay to speak in front of whoever she is.
Okay, I'm saying, you think N can go in someplace quietly? Did you see how the hell he behaved?
That wasn't N. I was mistaken.
That was the front.
Different person. But yeah, Stelborg can turn invisible and he can identify the stuff and get out.
Give me time with the book.
I'm not an outlaw in the city either. I've done nothing wrong there, even if you have earned yourself a reputation in yet another town, Kieran.
They're zombie things. It's not my fault. Objectively, this is not my fault this time.
Bellum, roll me an insight check, please. An insight check, please.
What's an A?
During this talk, I'm gonna mush up some gold coins into golden ink and start rewriting my invisibility spell.
There you go. Will, nothing for you.
That's fun.
You're gonna mush up gold coins. Yes, this is totally the ingredient.
In like towns, it's like, okay, you buy.
Yeah,
parts,
no,
I
know.
It makes sense for here.
It's just funny. It's just your description was good. I like it.
What Stalbo would do? It's like you just see him get like a mortar and pestle and just.
Again, I will always bring up that Oots comic with the you get back in there and pay full price. All right. So, anyways, you know what I'm talking about, Eric. It never gets old. It doesn't.
I need 200 gold pieces worth of diamond dust, but I got it for 180 gold. It needs to be 200. You go with it again.
It never gets old. Never gets old.
The potions comic is my favorite. All right, no, sorry.
So moving on. You don't notice anything, Bellum. But she does offer to go in, whoever she is.
Okay. Well, I'd probably be okay with her going in. I don't want to become an outlaw of this area.
I mean, he's already dead. So
He's
I'd
not the
also
only person
rather-
that worked at the building.
Yeah.
we might not be able to get anything from there. It's been a few days. They might have already cleared it out. But maybe not.
There
There's
was
so many
also
people,
a bit of
so-
an explosion in the building.
Just a little one though.
Honestly, I think
It was a
this
5-foot hole.
I think-
And then there was a bigger one. It's fine.
There you
it's
go.
to expect that there would be something of use in there. If there's something that would be useful against this creature and this town is under its influence, why would they leave it so easily
Not
accessible?
specifically against their influence, but remember, he was exploiting people who found out too much.
Well, to agree with Reich, it would also put attention on us when we are attempting to attack this creature. It would be an easier assault if we go straight to the creature.
I won't lie. What I'm most interested in finding, if I were to go in there with or without Bellum, is some sort of what's that word for, like, a universal antidote? You know, something that'll
Panacea?
yeah, to help kind of boost an immune system. And no, nobody says anything?
Yeah.
Because obviously
I mean,
you two know what she's
yeah.
referring to.
Like, I'll agree to that. Like, yeah.
An interesting thought.
Well,
You worried about being poisoned?
no, it's just something else that was learned while we were out about how it is that you can somewhat disrupt the influence of the Thorian.
Was by making them very, very sick. And it'll kill the virus potentially, or whatever it is inside of them. And
Scott, would
If
my
you could-
character know about changeling potion?
Changing poison?
The poison, yeah. Would my character know about it and the effects of it making them sick?
I'm actually going to say flat out yes.
Okay.
Just
No,
because of
I-
just because of your job and where you're from. Flat out yes.
Okay, then I'm just gonna be like, well, so long as that's a worry, we could always pick up some changeling poison. I mean, yes, it outs changelings, but we could just use it simply to make one sick.
I think. And she thinks for a couple moments,
mean-
and she's like,
Jangle.
honestly, that could work. She says
well, we
almost
only
begrudgingly.
have a couple of doses of it, and we don't know how many people there are.
He
They're
didn't know you guys
infected.
had doses. Go ahead.
Yeah, you
Yes,
have
I say
doses
that.
of it?
I just hold up the
We
couple
had
of
a-
vials I have.
I like look at it and
brush
I'm
some
like,
dust off them. Maybe Luca.
Oh, those two.
Efron.
rude.
That was rough. That was rough, man.
I'm like, well, that's probably about 3 doses. I mean, do we think all 3 of us, or 4 of us, 5 of us, are gonna be?
Oh no, it's not for us.
Who's it for?
Someone who's already under the influence.
Well, I figured if we're going to fight this thing and it possibly puts us under the influence, it'd be a great way to get out of it.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But what about, say, grabbing somebody who's already under the influence and questioning them?
Again,
But to what end? Do
it
you
doesn't
assume?
work.
Do you assume that these people would know anything? We don't know the effect that this toxin has on their mind.
Reich, I know that we're looking for information. Does it hurt to try?
Well, like I said, that looks like it's about 3 doses. Maybe it wouldn't be smart to waste one specifically on someone who might not know anything. So it might hurt to try, yes.
So my suggestion was going to be the captain of the guard, because she's a definitive person under the influence. If you can think of somebody else, it was sickness in general. It didn't have to be a poison. Maybe poison doesn't even work. Maybe it has to be a natural sickness. But I'm not about to start sneezing in people's mouths in hopes that they catch ill in the next few weeks.
I would have more of a problem of capturing a guard captain.
She
It
is
seems.
good at what she does.
A lot of us are good at what we do, though.
But
And-
if we could go find this thing without having to interrupt what its minions are doing, why not do that? And when we do that and we kill the thing and its minions no longer are held, we'll be fine.
I would simply agree with Bellum just based on the thought that if we capture a minion, it will more than likely know what we're doing, or at least attempting to do. The more we make it obvious that we're aware of its presence and attempting to break its hold, the more defensive it will get. The less likely we will be able to get the jump on it.
You have a really good point. It would be unfortunate if someone who was already identified to be a threat of sorts was seen by one of the minions and was able to report that information back to its master. Perhaps if we could acquire someone else's aid, someone that is unknown to the Thorian or its minions, perhaps that person could be able to do it without ruining the plan? Or do you think that's even too risky at that point as well?
Well, I would be concerned for this person's safety, given that 2 of our party members were face down with this, especially if we're talking about attempting this on the guard captain. 2 of our party members here were nearly felled in the combat against her. A single combatant would be unwise, but I would be willing to. I would be willing to take a chance on this if that person were willing.
I'll give the woman like an up and down look and say, "You don't seem like much of a fighter. Were you suggesting that you do it?"
I am most certainly not a fighter. No. And I was not suggesting that I engage in combat with the captain of the guard. I was offering to go and investigate the.
I would say that's perfect. If you're not much of a fighter, you shouldn't be coming with us anyway. So, I feel if you want to take it upon yourself while you're waiting to hear back from us to find someone who could possibly do this, that might be a smart idea just in case all goes south.
Your opinion and input are appreciated. However, you're new to this group of friends, and so while it's appreciated, and I understand that you're coming from a point of wanting to be protective, you're saying things to protect me. I don't need you looking after me. I have Kieran for that, and Stalbor and Reich.
I'm not saying it to look after you. I'm saying it to look after the mission's sake.
Fair enough.
You can go
Actually, and this might be more fitting for your talents. If it's something you want to do.
He gives her a fucking weird ass look at this point.
I just.